You're listening to the International Moving Podcast, your guide to moving to another country, brought to you by SDC International Shipping, LA's finest. An international move is exciting. It's a time to start over, establish a new business maybe, reestablish family ties, or retire where your budget will do more for you. Please enjoy today's episode, and if you have any questions about your international move, give us a call at 888-779-3962. That's 888-779-3962. Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Jim for SDC International Shipping. Great to be here with you again today. Today we're going to talk about how long it takes to ship household goods overseas. Now, international moving and shipping, of course, there's a lot of moving parts and it requires meticulous planning and coordination. But when it comes to transporting household goods overseas, one of the most common questions is, how long does it take? The duration of shipping household goods overseas is going to depend on several factors, including things like the destination, the shipping method, customs procedures, and unforeseen circumstances. Unfortunately, those kinds of things do happen. But in this episode, we'll explore the different aspects that influence the timeline of shipping your household goods overseas. So when we talk about factors that affect the shipping duration, we can start with the most obvious, and that's the distance destination. For example, we could talk about shipping household goods from California to Spain, or we can talk about shipping household goods from California to the UK. The geographic location in general, of course, is going to play a crucial role in determining how long it's going to take. Moving goods, for example, to a neighboring country is going to require less time compared with shipping to distant continents. That, of course, makes sense. Transcontinental shipments tend to take longer due to the extended travel distances and potential layovers that may occur at transshipment hubs. Next, of course, very obvious, is the shipping method. The choice of shipping method greatly impacts the time required for transporting your household goods overseas. Now, the primary two methods, people are already familiar with this, but we can look at them a little bit closer. Number one is ocean freight, which is the most cost-effective way of doing it, and air freight, which of course is going to significantly reduce the amount of time. Now, shipping goods via ocean vessels, like I said, it's a cost-effective option for long-distance moves, and while it may take longer than air freight, the exact duration varies based on factors such as the shipping route, or vessel availability, or potential delays at ports. On average, let's say ocean freight shipments can take anywhere from 2 weeks to 12 weeks, depending on the destination. Whereas air freight is going to significantly reduce the transit time, and that makes it ideal for urgent shipments where time is of the essence. Air freight generally takes anywhere from a few days to a few weeks, depending on factors like customs clearance, flight availability, and the final destination's proximity to the airport. Next, we could look at customs procedures. Customs clearance is an essential step in the whole international shipping process because the time required for customs procedures varies from country to country as it depends on the efficiency of local customs authorities. In some nations, customs clearance can be very swift, while in others, it may be more of a time-consuming process. Proper documentation and adherence to customs regulations can help expedite that entire process. Next, we can talk about things like packing and preparation. The time spent on packing and preparation is often overlooked, but it can significantly impact the overall shipping duration. Taking the time to properly pack and secure household goods reduces the risk of damage during transit, and this includes things like labeling and organizing items, completing the necessary paperwork, and ensuring compliance with shipping regulations. Adequate preparation here before the shipping occurs helps to avoid any delays or potential setbacks. Next, we have, unfortunately, unforeseen circumstances. You can have the greatest planning, but an unforeseen circumstance can occur sometimes, and that will affect the shipping timelines. Examples include things like extreme weather conditions, or port congestion, or strikes, or logistical issues. And while these events are relatively rare, they can occur and potentially cause delay. So choosing a reputable shipping provider with experience in international moves really helps mitigate these risks and provide you with some alternative solutions when the unforeseen circumstances do occur. Now we can make some comparisons here. We can talk about shipping a single family residence, let's say from California to the UK, versus doing the same thing but shipping to Spain instead. So if we're shipping a single family residence to the UK, when considering that kind of a shipment via, let's say, sea freight, several factors come into play. First is the distance and the shipping route. The distance between California and the UK, it's a considerable distance involving a transatlantic voyage, and the chosen shipping route typically involves departing from a major California port, let's say Los Angeles or Long Beach, and arriving at a port in the UK, such as maybe London or Southampton. And that route covers a substantial difference and may include a few, intermediate stops at transshipment hubs along the way. The transit time for shipping a single family residence, let's say from California to the UK, can also vary depending on factors such as weather conditions, vessel availability, port congestion, like we had mentioned earlier. But on average, if we just want to look for a roundabout ballpark figure, on average, the shipment can take between 4 to 8 weeks. And this includes the time spent at the port of origin for loading, the actual ocean transit, and the time spent at the port of destination for unloading, and then customs clearance. Customs procedures. Once the shipment arrives at the port in the UK, the customs clearance process begins. This involves presenting the necessary documentation, such as a bill of lading, the packing list, and any required customs forms. And the time required for the customs procedures, it does vary, but with the proper documentation and the proper adherence to the customs regulations, this process can be expedited. On average, customs clearance for shipping household goods to the UK can take around a week, although it could be longer if an issue arises. So let's ballpark figure, we'll say a week. Okay, now shipping a single family residence to Spain, let's contrast it with that. Let's say we're also going by ocean vessel. Now compared to the UK, the distance between California and Spain is going to be shorter, as it involves the voyage across the Atlantic, and the shipping route may involve, let's say, departing from a California port and arriving at a Spanish port such as Barcelona or Valencia, and that route covers also a significant difference, but generally it involves a shorter travel time compared to shipping to the UK. So the transit time for shipping a single family residence from California to Spain via sea freight can range anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks. And again, that depends on factors such as weather conditions, vessel availability, and port congestion. And this includes the time spent at the port of origin doing things like loading everything, making sure that everything is in order, documentation, and all of that. And then you have the ocean transit and the time spent at the port of destination for the unloading and the customs clearance. So in our estimate here, just looking at the comparison transit time, just that one aspect of the move, we're looking at a difference between 4 to 8 weeks going from California to the UK. And again, these are not, like I say, you can't take these numbers and just apply them to what you're doing. We're just trying to compare apples with apples here. We're looking at that time period as compared with going from California to Spain, at which the transit time is narrowed down from 2 to 6 weeks. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of variance there, but at least you're looking at things, you're getting a general feel for how long the entire process may take. And of course, if you're going into Spain, Then you're going through the Spanish port, customs procedures very similar to the UK, and the same thing is involved with presenting the necessary documentation, adhering to customs regulations. The time required for that procedure in Spain can vary, but on average, it can take around a week, although this timeline may also vary depending on specific circumstances. So when comparing the shipping of a single-family residence from California to the UK and Spain via sea freight, it's crucial to remember that it benefits you immensely by working with an experienced international shipping company. A company like SDC International Shipping. SDC International Shipping offers comprehensive solutions that encompass all aspects of the relocation process, including the packing services, making sure that is done correctly, making sure everything is labeled correctly. It's really important. I know sometimes it's tempting to think that, well, maybe if I just pack some things myself, I'll save a little money. And that may be true, but when you consider the distance of this kind of voyage and things being loaded and unloaded and then transported by vehicle to the final destination, making sure that your items arrive in one piece are greatly increased by having a professional do the packing for you. It's something, of course, to keep in the back of your mind. SDC International Shipping, we have a lot of experience doing this from start to finish, to ensure that your household goods are well taken care of from the start to the very finish. And by entrusting your move to a reputable company like SDC International Shipping, you have a certain peace of mind because there's somebody there that you can contact, your contact person that will be with you from the start of the process to the very finish. It makes a huge difference in the overall experience. So if you'd like to get more information about how we can help you, please go ahead and check out our website at www.sdcinternationalshipping.com. Check everything out there. You can talk to us live online. You can fill out the form and get the process started immediately. Or if you like, you can even give us a call at 1-877-339-0267. There's a lot of ways that you can connect with us. I know some people would rather just pick up the phone and call. That's great. Other people would like to chat with somebody. We have our live chat available. Somebody is there, usually 24 hours a day, to be able to answer whatever questions you may have. So we're here for you. I just wanted to let you know that. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I was thinking before I hit the record button about making comparisons, knowing that every move is different. Every move is specific. Your move is specific to you. But by just making a general observation of what it would take to move a single family residence, let's say from a starting point like California to the UK and Spain, that would just give you some kind of idea that you could visualize maybe for yourself when you're going through this process of how long it's going to take for you to get everything done from the very first day to the very last day and everything in between. This is definitely a process that you don't want to wait till the last minute to get things moving. Also, there's plenty of groups online that you can visit. There are expats in countries, of course, like the UK and Spain. You can find people online and talk about the experiences they have. You can look up, for example, SDC International Shipping online and see that we have a very high rating. We have a lot of satisfied customers and people that have used our services, some even more than one time. So I just encourage you to go ahead and do that. So that will do it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, please go ahead and share it with a friend. Share it on social media. Send an email, a link to someone. Whatever you prefer, we appreciate it. All right, that'll do it for today's episode. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, have a great week. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thanks for listening. Whether you're relocating within the country or moving to the other side of the world, we're here to help from start to finish. Connect with us today at 888-779-3962. That's 888-779-3962.